Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And like Jacob 2 times said, we're kicking off our new Sunday edition of the Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast. So each week we're going to rotate where we will do a separate podcast. So I told you I'd give you a little hint or just tell you who my first guest is, because my concept for my podcast is to interview people and to basically ask them about the 2 or 3 or 4 things in their lives that change the trajectory of their lives. Well, the first guest was going to be my husband, Abe, because there are some things in his life that I've alluded to, but I've always said it's not my story to tell.
Right.
But he had a family emergency, so he's actually up north right now. And so then, of course, in typical radio fashion, I had to scramble and be like, well, this is the first one. Who am I going to pick? And I said, of course, my mama.
That's right.
So this Sunday, I'll be talking to Angela Jackson, my mom.
I'm excited. That's going to be awesome.
Yes, I'm so curious. I told her to prepare some thoughts, but then she was like, I want to wing it.
Yeah, no thoughts prepared. Just going in.
She has a lot of time, though. That's what I don't understand.
Like what?
Yeah,
I know. It's fine.
I love her.
Yeah, we all do. So we're all going to get a lot of her. So this Sunday around noon, my episode will drop. And then next Sunday, is it Kelbin? You're going first after me?
Yes. I originally was going to do my husband as well, but then we decided we're just going to branch out and do our own podcast, which that'll be ready soon.
See, I love it. That's what this is all about, is getting us in that headspace.
Yeah. So our first episode is already recorded, but I do want to do something a little different for this.
Oh.
So should I tease what my first episode should be about? I don't know.
Do you know what it is already? So,
I
because the
do.
reason you were going to take the slot is because you already had it.
Right. But I do have a second thing, or I guess a second idea, which will be my first. I kind of want to talk about weight loss and how, like, where I'm at in my journey and how I could possibly help you. Obviously, I'm not a fitness influencer, nor am I a dietitian, nutrition, but something I'm doing is fucking right. So I'd like to share that for somebody that maybe is in my kind of position. We're not trying to get a fitness influencer or pay for a personal trainer, but I can kind of give you some guidelines of what I've been doing in a really healthy way and kind of teach you about the things that were really intimidating to me at first until I educated myself and simplify it. So maybe like a 101 of how to be a little healthier.
I love that.
That is actually a really good idea.
And by the way, girl, 95% of the people that are on Instagram and TikTok do not have any degrees.
Yes.
They're just doing the same thing you're doing.
Correct.
So don't ever feel like you can't speak on it, because they do. And then Holly, after that, will be you.
Yeah.
Have you had any inklings yet? Or are you still marinating? You still cooking?
I asked ChatGPT for some help.
Yes.
So I have that.
Okay. All right.
So that's something.
We are getting the ingredients out of the fridge. We're putting them on the counter and we're starting to prepare it.
Yeah. My favorite thing is I asked ChatGPT and it did come up with a couple of good, I liked some of the things that it came up with, but it also like gave them names and I was like, you
didn't ask for that. Yeah, girl.
I didn't ask for that, but like, I appreciate it. I will not be using those names, but thank you for all of your help. So anyway, I do have, I probably have a general direction that I'm going to go in. It's probably mental health related. So I just don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, actually, speaking of names, I want to ask you and the Platypus Posse to help us come up with this Sunday. So like for my first one, it's just going to be like the regular uncensored intro. But moving forward, I want to give it a name. So like on the New York Times, The Daily podcast, they do it Monday through Friday. And then on Sundays, they do sort of this long form interview and they call it The Story or The Interview. So what name should we call this Sunday special? So if you want to give some ideas, and we'll credit you with it, obviously.
Yeah.
No monetary compensation for it, just our love and adoration because it's radio. On the Platypus Posse / Miguel and Holly fam Facebook page. All right, before we start getting into Kelbin's wedding weekend, because we haven't had time to dissect that, We want to talk to one of our coworkers. Let's welcome Taylor to the podcast.
She could be my Taylor.
Welcome.
Yes. How you doing, Taylor?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy to be on the podcast for the first time.
Yes. So the reason why we have her on here, outside of her being a stellar salesperson, which I want to ask you about here in a second, but you got this really cool opportunity to attend the iHeart Radio Music Awards.
Yes.
Now, what's crazy about that is if, you listening, you're like, oh my God, well, like Miguel, Holly, Kelbin, like, weren't y'all there?
Well, everybody go. Like, you work for the company, so like you must choose not to go. 'Cause
Right.
you're just
Did y'all
tired of
just
seeing
not
going
wanna
to
go?
all these
So
things?
busy.
No.
That's not how it works.
That's
That
not how
is
it works with
not
iHeart.
How it works.
Unless
No.
you're Elvis Duran, Ryan Seacrest, you don't get to go, or Bobby Bones. We
Right.
don't, us lower peons, we don't get to go to those things. But if you're making money for the company like Taylor, you do.
It's like a reward.
Like
So-
a reward.
Right. So before we get to that, Taylor, because we obviously know what you do, but what exactly, when we say a salesperson, what do you do?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things we do. Obviously, I love to sell endorsements for Miguel, Holly, and Kelvin. So
Yes, she
that's
does.
That's right.
So anyone listening, if you need an endorser, here they are.
Yes.
But I also just sell all the ad space in all of our products we do. So all the podcast advertising we do. I sell sponsorships to events like the iHeart Radio Music Awards, which is why I got to go there. We sell social, really everything. So think of me as just like a digital salesperson. That's essentially what I do.
So if I have, and I always love using this as my example when it comes to sales and radio, if Holly has Holly's t-shirt shop, in South End, and she's new on the scene, she's got some seed money from investors, and you walk into her shop, but she's done no advertising, how are you trying to get Holly's t-shirt shop into the iHeart Radio or iHeart Media ecosystem?
I really like to lean into our influencers. I think you guys have probably seen this firsthand, but let's say Miguel follows someone on Instagram. That is like my in. And I use that with all of my big clients as well. And that's really how I've gotten most of my business is, like, oh, like Miguel follows you on Instagram. Or like in this case, it was, Becca Tilley or Martha Stewart follows you on Instagram. And so we have names from all over, like you said, Ryan Seacrest, Martha Stewart, and a bunch of people from like The Bachelor, which is something I'll probably get into a little bit later. We use all of those, and that's really like my in as far as how to get all these people interested. And just name dropping is huge in this business, as you probably know. So.
100%.
She's making it sound really easy because I've seen you work before. Taylor not only name drops when she goes to these things, but she also like knows our products like the back of her hand. And I've seen her explain, and also Taylor, the exact products that a company would need, or like a client would need for their, because not everybody needs absolutely every single product that we do. And so I've seen her work it around, and it taught me a lot. So
Honestly, yeah, it's like listening to your guys' show is, especially like just talking about on the local level. Like, let's talk about a shop in Charlotte. Just listening to your guys' show and figuring out like how we can work other brands into that, like Blown Off. People love Blown Off. So working people into that has been huge. And I know like I've gotten people to work with iHeart just from how great your guys' segments are, and it like pulls people in. So I know you guys don't always get all the praise, but it is super helpful to work with people who are like, so engaging with fans.
What is the word on the street? Because, like you said, we're so disconnected, and we only hear about if something is sold until, the very end. Then you're like, oh, hey, we've created this whole like year-long plan for you to do this stuff. And so we don't hear any of the conversation. So like, are people like, do they know about us? Are we?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Like truly all like my local clients are mainly on your guys' show, and I think it's because like people just love you all. And like when you guys did your hometown tour, people came out to see you, and some of those people were business owners, and they just loved you guys for who you are. And it makes my job so much easier because, like I've said this before, it's so hard to sell to someone when they don't know anything about your product. But if you're pitching a person and you're pitching like a personality, it's so much easier. So the word on the street is that you guys will pretty much help us however we need to. We'll come up with the plans, and then hopefully we'll just plug you in there and it makes sense and that you guys like it. But that's typically how it works.
And we'll always like it, girl, because we like monies.
Yeah.
This is why you brought her in.
Making the money. Keep it going.
One, two, I just wanted to pay you huge respects because especially between Holly and I, we've both been in this business almost 20 years now. And you see so many salespeople. Like that was the joke when I first got into radio in Savannah, that every week you would get we wish such and such well in their future endeavors. I mean, it was like, girl, they can't keep nobody. And so to see someone young come in and just totally just kill it is a huge testament to your work ethic and how you've really taken a hold of it, because what you do is not easy. So congratulations.
Right.
Thank you.
On your talents.
Yeah, we don't do that for a reason. Like we're not good at what you do.
Mm-mm.
And it's truly a skill and it's a talent. And you just have it or you don't, which I think leads to some of the high turnover rate in sales departments. I mean, the same thing when I first started in radio, they told me immediately that there was a high turnover rate in sales, which by the way, I didn't even know what that meant.
Right.
I'm like, Apple turnovers? Like I was I literally was like, when they bring it in, I literally didn't know what that meant. But then after a while, I realized, oh, these people are coming in and out. But it's the people who really, truly have a skill and a talent for sales that do so well. I mean, it is a skill. So kudos to you.
She's my Latina here, the only Latina other than me here, because she always gets me the Hispanic endorsements, and I'm like, Taylor, you're invited to the carne asada anytime, like anytime, come on through.
He did give me a shout out in front of the whole like sales team, and they're like, "What is he talking about?"
No context.
Well,
that's Kelbin sometimes.
No, I loved it. And honestly, like I love working with you guys. So it's really like how you said you don't know like what the word is on you guys out there. Like we don't know what the word is with the salespeople. Everyone kind of has those people that they work with on sales. So it's good to hear that from you all. But yeah, anything we can do to help you all is really like super rewarding, especially on the local level. Like local business, it sounds like it should be much easier, but like it's not, you know? And so when you guys have those connections, that's what really has made it like so easy for me. Because people, it's just so easy to sell you guys. And I'm not trying to like hype you up all like this on your show, but
I'll take it. Hey, I'll never turn down a compliment. So thank you.
But truly, like that is what makes it so easy for me.
Well, all of your hard work got you to go to the iHeart Radio Music Awards.
Yes.
So tell us about getting there, or like picking your outfit, getting there. What was the whole experience like?
Yeah, no. So like truly, I found out so late. I think I found out like 2 weeks before I was getting flown out there. And I was like a random email that came in. It had been mentioned to me that like I might be able to, but I wasn't sure if that would actually happen or not. And this email just came in as like, all right, do you want to get on a flight? Like, will you do it? And I was like, yes, like I will never turn down a free trip.
Yeah.
And so that like it, and then truly the Thursday before I flew out, which I was flying out on a Sunday, the awards were on a Monday. They gave us the dress code, which was Hollywood chic. And like, we live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't do Hollywood chic.
What in the world?
I was like, where do I even shop at that? And I was told to just go to Nordstrom. And I was actually told to find a gay man and hopefully they can help me.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
But, you know, I did not find any in the Nordstrom clothing section. So I was walking around the mall and I couldn't find anything. I was texting my mom. I'm like, this is so infuriating. Like, I hate shopping, honestly. Like, it just takes too long. And I'm just like, it didn't fit. And everything just looked bad. And then I ended up walking to Express. And that was kind of like, I found this leather jumpsuit. And that was really what I ended up going with. It was like truly the last place I went to. All that aside, let's talk about the morning I was supposed to fly out. It was storming like crazy here. I know we were talking about that, like with Kelbin, about how it was going to storm all weekend. And I was supposed to fly out at 11 a.m. As I'm walking out the door, I get a thing. Your 11 a.m. flight has been pushed back to 4 p.m. We were supposed to meet with the client that night. So I'm like really trying to figure out everything with my flights, and it was insane. And I ended up getting on like one that connected through Las Vegas. So we're flying into Las Vegas, and as we're getting ready to land, I was already late. I only had 30 minutes to get on my connecting flight, and it had already delayed. So I was like landing at 2:10. Flight was supposed to take off at 2:30. And so we're landing, and all of a sudden I like look out the window and I see us like going back up into the air. And I'm like, not again, because I have also been on a flight that has tried to land, missed the landing, and gone back up in the air.
Oh my god.
And so that's what happened.
Oh my
They're like, it's a
gosh.
little windy. We didn't love how we were landing. And of course, like in my older years, I've gotten more anxious on flights. I didn't used to be, but for some reason now, like every time I'm like, okay, like I'm
well,
fine.
especially with all the news that's been happening the
Yes,
past 2 months,
right.
like
That's stressful.
I mean, that
out.
might be part of the reason.
No, that's absolutely. It's for everyone. Everyone is like, I'm good. I don't need a trip. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
And honestly, you like, you're seeing things, even when people are landing, things are happening. So I'm like, you're not really safe until this plane stops. And and that's kind of how I was feeling. So as I'm landing, I'm like, all right, we're good. And then all of a sudden it's like whoosh. And then I'm like, on top of being anxious, I'm gonna miss this flight and miss the dinner with my client.
oh my god.
I'm just anxious that we're going back up in the air to begin with.
And by
and-
the way, I just want to say this client that you're having dinner with, I mean, this is like $1 million client, isn't it?
Yes.
Like,
Like
so I mean, this is someone who's paying a lot of
Lot.
money.
yeah, the moolah. And it was the first time I was meeting him. So I was like, this is
Oh my gosh.
so bad. And yeah, so I was just like getting all anxious and, strapping it in because they didn't say anything either. We just went back up. And so we're up in the air. And let me tell you, that was the most turbulent 10 minutes, 15 minutes of my entire life.
Oh.
And I mean, like, I know this is uncensored. I was also a little bit hungover.
Oh, girl, you can say fuck whatever you want
And,
to. girl.
And because it was the day after we all went out for St. Patrick's Day. So I was
Oh my
Not-
God.
not in my best headspace, like anxiety, regular anxiety. It was all kind of hitting.
Ugh.
And so I'm like holding on tight and I'm sitting there like, don't throw up. Like that's how bad it was. So I'm like, it's like bumpy side to side, like we're dropping, we're like all
Oh
these
my
things.
gosh.
People are getting nervous. The guy in front of me is sitting there. He was quiet the whole time. And like this flight attendant walks by and he's like, ma'am, please, a bag, please. And literally everyone around us is like grabbing the bags, like, no, don't you throw up on this plane.
Oh,
Don't you throw up on this
oh
plane.
no.
And we got him a bag and he was directly in front of me. And like another thing, I can't hear people throw up. And so he's yakking in the bag.
Ooh.
And
But can you hear it?
yeah,
It's like,
oh
like-
yeah. And I was like, when you're just like, oh God. And so I'm like covering my ears.
Plane's going up.
Oh,
As-
no.
As like I'm trying to stay fine myself. Like I was feeling nauseous. And I don't even get like super motion sick, but that's how bad it was.
oh my god.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't hear this. And the guy is full on throwing up in the bag in front of me. Yes.
Maybe don't do it right now, Miguel. Like nobody asked you
As
to.
she just said.
Listen,
She literally
it's
just said, and
audio,
no one
like, I
asked
have to-
for it. No, you don't have to.
And like it was so, and like people are panicking because they're like, he's gonna throw up on us. Like the guy next to him was like full blown, like eyes bulging, like what is gonna happen to this flight? And like he was doing it the whole until we landed, and then when we landed again, he threw up in the bag again.
Oh no.
And they had
Those
to get
bags
him.
aren't that big, by the way.
Oh, no, they got him a bigger bag for this reason.
God damn, what are you eating?
He was like drinking on the flight too. I was like, this is not great.
Well, now
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But he was kind of just like quiet the whole time. Like I thought he was good. And then they gave him the little bag and he had filled up the little bag and he's like, I need another one. And they grabbed him the huge bag. And so that was a terrible way to start it off. I
You're
won't
like,
lie.
all right, we're here in Vegas.
And I was like, thank the Lord. And then, of course, I had to do the embarrassing thing where like you get up when the flight lands because I was like, I have to get to my flight. And people are like looking at me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I never do this. But of course, no one
Oh,
believes you.
Right.
when
They're
you say
like,
that.
of course.
They're like, oh, this girl, like, where's she gonna go?
Look at you.
So, I mean, all that aside, I ended up actually, good news is flights are constantly delayed nowadays. So my Las Vegas flight had gotten delayed like 20 minutes. So I was actually able to
Mm.
get on that flight and it was like an hour flight and I landed. It was all good.
You made the dinner.
Yeah. So the guy ended up being like, oh, let's just meet for drinks instead. I'm like, no more drinks, please.
Oh my god. You're like, no, I'm good.
And it was so funny because we got there, we got to the drinks, and it was actually in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, which is technically a haunted hotel by Marilyn Monroe, I think.
Mm.
And I didn't experience anything personally, but it was just like a super cool atmosphere. And then we did the drinks like right there because they have like a bunch of restaurants and bars right there. And I think it was at like 8:00 we started drinking. The guy got a drink and he like downed it so fast. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
And he was like, now I feel weird. You guys aren't drinking with me. And I was like, oh, I
You're
want to, but like,
Not that fast,
I
girl.
was like, all right. But it was great. It was so fun. And he was great. And then obviously the next day it was just go, go, go. I actually witnessed a live podcast taping from Bachelor Happy Hour, which is like some of our national hosts that do the Bachelor Happy Hour show. It's like Serena Pitt and Joe Amabile. And we saw like Charity, who was the old Bachelorette. She was sitting in there. We saw the first ever Bachelorette, Trista. She came in and did a show with them. And it was like totally decked out with the clients, like logo and everything. And then obviously the awards were super cool. I saw Gaga, Kelvin. Yes. She gave truly the best speech. I don't know if you all heard that speech. Kelvin, you guys are all nodding, but like, I just loved, she was talking about how like, we don't need any more copies. Like we just need the original. Cause I feel like that's such a good message. And you know, like there were so many like young kids there. Like my client has 2 11-year-old twin daughters there. And I was like, she's just such like an inspiration, honestly. And like, she really is so well-spoken. And I know I don't really have to hype her up to you guys, but like she is great. So yeah, it was just so like an experience I probably will not get again.
Hey, listen, you keep selling those $1 million clients, they'll have you up there hosting with Ryan Seacrest.
Right. That would be great if that was the case. Yeah.
Wow. Now, when you are there, do they give you any backstage access, or they're just like, all right, we're going to put you in the rafters and then you're good to go?
Well, so some people did get to go on the red carpet and like really get to see those people in person. I was not so lucky. But I did see like a ton of famous people. Like I saw Doechii, JoJo Siwa all there.
Who didn't miss her? Like that big ring light looking thing she had on her head. Like if you haven't seen what JoJo Siwa wore to the iHeart Radio Music Awards, just Google it. I'm like, who's helping you?
She's going through a time right now.
Okay. But girl, you don't got to look like a human ring light. Like, no, what are you wearing?
This is her time to be
that.
She's figuring it out. She's figuring it out. Girl. And what's funny is she was 2 seats in front of my client, and he's like that. He's like, she kept that thing on the whole time.
Good Lord. Were you allowed to take photos or no?
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't actually really run into like anyone that was like super, super famous that I would like take a photo with. I think I could have. And like, I requested my clients' daughters to take photos because they're like, oh, like we recognize that girl. There was some actress from The Descendants there. I haven't seen that show. Okay. But like they were obsessed with her, and she was like the sweetest person ever. I'll have to like look up her name after because I truly have never seen it. But she was so nice to them, and like they were totally fine to take pictures. Actually, they got a picture with JoJo too, and they said JoJo was like super sweet. They got a picture with Doechii. They said Doechii was super sweet. I was like super jealous about the Doechii thing because like I wasn't like close enough to get a picture with her, but like that would have been for me like someone I really would have wanted to get a photo with.
Oh my gosh,
and
so great.
Yeah, and like Lady Gaga, I don't even know if she was like anywhere near us. Probably not. I think there was like probably a separate thing for like the really important people.
Hold on, for those of you that are watching, this is what JoJo
she's going through it.
She's the first of her generation, she said.
Right? Didn't she say JoJo? And okay, first off, I'm making fun.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the loophole?
Like no, I'm just like we can all look back at our younger selves and be like, we were very ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is a time period in JoJo's life that she's going to look back in 10, probably 2 years and be like, why did no one tell me to stop?
You don't think someone told her not to do that?
No.
And she was like, no, this is my thing.
I feel like on her team, they're like, girl, yes, honey. Slay.
Be different.
Slay boots down,
She was
honey.
different for sure.
I just like, what?
I feel
just feel bad for her.
10 years down the line, I think she'll be like, I ate that.
Now, just
You
imagine
really
watching the awards show through that hole in her hair. That's what my client had to do.
That's the bad thing. Like, do what you want to do, wear what you want to wear. But like, for God's sakes, if you're not sitting in the back row, how are you going to come like this? Bitches can't see.
You got to look through JoJo Siwa's hole.
You can like play a game and like throw little things through it and be like, ooh.
It's like a ring toss.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I hate being like a mean person when it comes to outfits, but it's just like, girl.
No, if you wear a funny hat, you're going to expect funny reactions.
Is it a hat?
This
I
isn't
actually
even a hat.
couldn't even see. Like, what is it?
It's
Is it a hairstyle?
something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Bless her heart.
I just feel bad
Bless
for her.
I do too. So,
Just-
so were they serving drinks at the awards ceremony?
Yeah, honestly, it was just like a walk-up bar. So like it was just
Delish.
little margarita mix.
Oh, so did you get a little tipsy at the awards ceremony?
I a little bit, nothing crazy because like again, I was with a client and
Right.
his daughters, and I
Oh,
just
right.
didn't want to scare
Yeah.
them. But
fine.
yeah,
What is your biggest takeaway? Because I feel like for those of you that are listening, like you can sort of tell that the national iHeart Radio arm of things and what we do locally, it's two separate
totally
things.
different things.
So what impressions did you, or what takeaways did you leave with after watching our national team put on this big event?
I think, like as cliche as it sounds, it's just like there's so much that goes into it that people don't see. They actually shut down the red carpet at one point because it was like a fire hazard. They did it inside this year because I guess like crazy people were yelling at the red carpet last year from like outside. So this year they did it inside and they like shut down the red carpet. But like just seeing like all the working parts, because like between the live podcast episode, we had like 7 people from the iHeart national team who were like getting all like this client's like color schemed things. So they had like all pink starburst in there, napkins, and like all these backdrops that are like so specific to them. And then just the show in general. I like the one thing too is also it's like the theater's a little bit smaller, so it does feel more intimate. It looks huge on TV, but in reality, like it's not that big. It's kind of like where you would watch like a play happen because it is the Dolby Theater. And I think it was just like so crazy to think like all these people are in one place for the iHeart like awards. And it's how many like people go into that, because we have our events team, but then we also have like our national sales people. And then we have like our presidents and like, obviously like the head people from iHeart were all there. So it's just a lot. And I, like the biggest takeaway aside from like the awards is just like, never think that there's something that like you can't have happen to you, because I was like, oh, this will never happen. Like starting here, like, obviously I don't think you guys really know my background, but like I was not involved in sales at all before this. I was a coach. I was a lacrosse coach in college. So like literally like like I definitely know that there were times where people were like, I don't know if like she'll like make it. And so it was just cool to, I guess, be able to like do something so important and like really get to experience that all in person, because like doing it online is just one tiny part of like a massive puzzle. So it was just super cool to see everything. And the awards show, you have Benson Boone there, you have Lady Gaga, Doechii, like it really is just like the star power. A Bad Bunny, like it was unmatched. And like just seeing all those performances in person is, you can never really get that anywhere else. So I just loved that.
Amazing. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for what you do and for, telling us. And poor Taylor, I had messaged her Sunday and I was like, hey, girl, because I wasn't thinking, because I was hungover myself. Yeah. And I saw on your Instagram, you were like, getting ready to go. And I'm like, hey, girl, can we talk to you on the show Monday to tell us about your experience? And she was like, yeah, but it would be 5 a.m. LA time. And I was like, don't worry about it.
No.
Never mind.
Don't worry about
like
it.
that wouldn't have been good for anyone. So
No. So thank you for at least entertaining my ridiculous ask. So thank you.
No, thanks for having me on. This was so fun. Hopefully I'll do something cool to get me brought on again.
Yeah. Girl, keep making that money, honey. We'll bring you on all the time.
Anytime.
Girl. Yes. Well, thank you, Taylor.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's so cool. It's just so awesome to see our industry really bring in young people, because that's something that I always get so nervous about, especially on the sales side. That they, it's a lot of people that are been in it since the late 90s, early 2000s, and they have their nice big accounts. And then the new relationships, because it's a relationships business. And then you're always like, we need young people to understand what we do and to go out there and to sell radio and all our products to a new generation.
Yeah.
Kelbin?
Yes.
You got married a week ago.
I did? I did.
Yes.
So delightful.
Oh, yes.
So let's run down what happened last weekend. How was it?
Let's run it down. Okay. Where do I start? I when I left Wednesday, So I left Wednesday and the wedding was Saturday. We went to drive to Georgia. And I really think those 2 days are a blur. Like until Friday, maybe I started to gain consciousness. I just remember Wednesday night we stayed at where we were going to get married at our my now husband's family's home in Georgia. And we were sleeping in the living room and I was like, you know what? I need to stop checking the weather, but let me check it one more time. And the percentage went from 65% to 35%. And we were like, great, this is great. This is fantastic. It's working out. And so we were really happy about that. Thursday, we probably went to like places to get last minute stuff. I can't really remember. I'm trying to give you like the highlights. I don't know. The Atlanta airport is fucking awful. I hate it. I had to pick up some friends and family there twice. And like, I never want to do it ever again.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And then Friday, we had our friends come in casually, like our best friends, Shay and Alex. We thought that their drive from Virginia was going to be much longer, but they randomly popped up at 12 p.m. And we were like, oh, okay. Like, we don't even know what time you guys left Virginia, but they popped up and we were like, perfect. Everybody's here. And we just started building stuff, those lights that you saw in the photos. That was a last minute thing that Oscar just packed up on Wednesday right before we left. He was like, hey, these string lights, we could possibly use them for the tent if it gets too dark. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Pack whatever you want. They ended up working out. He also had extras that he bought, which I have no idea why he bought extras, but it ended up working out. Him and his sisters were very adamant about taking everything off the walls. And I was very lucky because I didn't want to say that out loud. I didn't want to out loud be like, can you take off all the Jesus off your walls?
Well, it's a wedding space and it's someone's home and then it's a wedding space. And you have to prep it from not looking like a home to looking like a wedding space. And so some things need to happen.
Yes. And so there you could see the lights. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you could see kind of the setup. So they set up all those 3 lights there. We had eucalyptus branches that we were just going to attach to it, but it was too heavy. So we had to individually rip off those little eucalyptus stems.
Like the sprig.
Yes, the sprig. And so we just had them dangle over them and it worked out.
Yeah.
What else? There was just so many serendipitous things that happened to us really that whole week. And if I could really just take one thing out of it, I don't know, everything just really worked out. Some of those sprigs, online, we got them at Michael's and it said that it was sold out. And we were like, fuck, did we get our friends to go pick them up from Charlotte to come drop them off? Thankfully, we found a Michael's store and it had more of them. So they didn't look bare like that. They came out really happy. Those flowers are from the Charlotte Farmers Market, which they were so gracious and nice to give us the bouquets early because they only work Saturday and Sunday. They were like, we'll meet up with you on Wednesday to give them to you. And I was like, thank you. So I met up with them in Lincolnton, I think, just to pick them up on our way to Georgia.
Yeah.
Our designer, I don't know if you call them our luxury picnic designer. I don't know if that's what her title is, but she set all that up for the dinner table. We didn't touch the dinner table. No, none of our plate, none of that. That's not ours at all.
That is such an art that it's something that like if you are like talented in that you'd be like, well, I'm not really good at anything, but that is a work of art.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept because people obviously like you will hire someone to make it look nice.
Yeah. Because at one point we were gonna DIY all of it to try and be like budget conscious, but we were like, no. I was like, I'm not gonna be in charge of that. I don't design. I don't know color palettes that go together, and I'm not spending whatever amount because what are we gonna do with it when we're done? So I really liked it. I was super happy with what she did and what she came up with.
Yeah.
The tent. Last minute, we were like, let's do it on the grass. Where when we talked about it on air, I was like, I'm not doing it on the grass. If it rains, it's going to be muddy and I don't want it. But it was pretty clear all Friday.
Yeah.
So we were like, whatever, let's just bank on it. If we're not going to do it on the concrete, do it there where we originally were going to do it. And if it rains, at least some of it is covered. It ended up working out. We had clouds. It was cool weather, even though it was predicted to be like 75 and hot and a little sunny after it saying it was going to rain. It ended up not being. It ended up what we wanted. Overcast. It was a little cool. There was not one drop that happened.
That's amazing.
yeah, just so many things went well for us. It was such a perfect day. There was no drama aside from my groomzilla moment, which I don't feel like was that bad.
It really wasn't. That's a very like I would not honestly even file that under Groomzilla, where you had to like tell someone to stop calling you
Yes.
for updates. I mean, that's a very normal thing that like some people just forget themselves and they're like, well, I want to make it perfect. So I want to make sure I get your permission. No, this is a time when you need to go handle some stuff.
It was like the fourth phone call, and I was like, Cassie, handle it.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Mm.
Yeah. What else? What else did you want to know? I feel like the weather also ruined our after party. And we were gonna go to the club and go to the gay club and drink and have fun and dance. And I just want to hear abracadabra at the club, and I still haven't.
Oh, you haven't still?
No. But then, because of the storms, we just told everybody, hey, come on over to our hotel room. It's a Marriott. Just come by. It's in Midtown. And just hang out with us. And that's why I popped off on my friend, because I told her to get some snacks and drinks while we were setting up for the wedding. And it ended up working out. Like we were partying it up all together in the hotel room until 2:30 in the morning. Not one noise complaint. When we did check in, though, they gave us a corner room with a balcony, and it was perfect. We got to see a little bit of the city, some of the skyline, and by the time that it started storming after the wedding, it was really cozy. I mean, we had floor to ceiling windows. And so you got to see the storm and the winds passing by, and all of us were just eating and having fun. And it was intimate. Like, I feel like you don't get to have that at a wedding.
No, you don't. No, unless it's very small, like yours.
Right.
But no, you really don't.
Because that's one of the biggest complaints that Abe and I've had about our wedding, with it being so big, is that we only got like 30 seconds with people that came across the country to, do the wedding. And I'm like, I really wish I would have gotten to spend, 30, 40 minutes just catching up with you. But you try to hit everybody. And so you all being able to just sort of be in a space and have fun, that's really cool.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for all of it. It just ended up working out. And everybody kept telling me it's going to be perfect. It's going to work out. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. But they were right.
Yeah.
Everybody was right.
But, I think also too with weddings, it kind of is a perfect example of like your mindset really affects things, because when you're in a wedding and if like something goes wrong, you're just like, girl, this is the best day of my life. I'm not going to, it's a part of the story.
Right.
Whereas if any other day you would have been like, God damn it.
Right.
It's ruined.
Yes.
With your wedding, like I told the story before, how about like my mom kissed me as I sat her down, and everyone was like freaking out because I had lipstick on my collar of my wedding suit. And I was like, no, it's just a perfect example of my mom's love that day, and it's fine. If it was any other time, I'd be like, mother,
yeah,
how dare you?
Yeah, but like it just works out. It does. And I'm so glad it did for you. Serendipitous is a great word for it.
It really felt that way. I think the recipe of success for a great wedding is truly having people that you want there. And that sounds really simple on paper, right? But when you are planning for a wedding, there are family politics sometimes. Sometimes you have an overbearing mother that maybe is paying a little bit of the wedding and expects this person to come and this person to come, and you don't really care about them. They end up being the drunk uncle in the corner and ruining things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't deal with any of that. There's so many situations where I could see how your wedding could be a disaster and it could be ruined, but there was no ingredients in this recipe of this wedding for it to go wrong. We had the help of everybody. Like our best friends helped us with dining. Our family from New York that flew in helped us design, take the photos. My sister-in-law that lives in Georgia helped. She had 7 different jobs that day. She baked the bread for us. She ended up cleaning before and after. She took care of the kids. She took care of the dog. Like, she did all that only because she didn't want to do a speech. She said that she specifically said, she's like, don't make me talk. I will do anything else you need me to do. And she literally did 7 jobs that day.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I don't know. It was the best day ever. I wish I could do it again and again and again and again.
Have you had any blowback from someone that you didn't invite to the wedding or didn't get an invite?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a friend from college who I haven't physically seen since 2017. right? Like that was the
Mhm.
last time I was probably in LA. And we are close. I mean, we do talk from time to time. We catch up all the time. I give him advice. We've almost become even closer because he's always very separate about his romance side of his life. But now that he's
Mm.
lost weight, I've given him advice and to be confident with himself. And so we've gotten kind of closer, as time has gone out. And when I posted the photo of, hey, I got my marriage license, that's when he called me and he was like, hey, I didn't even know you were getting married.
Ooh.
I hesitated on telling him because, hey, imagine me on the phone and me being like, hey, yeah, I'm getting married, but you're not invited.
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle that conversation. Obviously, going back in time and avoiding all of this, sure, maybe I should have had that hard conversation first before trying to avoid it and skirt around. I didn't think about it. I was too busy thinking about other things selfishly for
Yeah.
my own wedding. So I didn't think about anybody else's feelings when it came to that. But I knew that hit him because immediately after I hung up with him, I texted him and I said, I'm so sorry I lied to you. I was very guilty and in lying to you. And, it's not just, I told him that it was just going to be a really small thing and a few friends. But I didn't tell him the extent of like the friends that were going. And I know him like the back of my hand. He's definitely in his feelings and rightfully so, I guess. But yeah, that was a blowback. He hasn't said congratulations. He hasn't commented on any of the photos. He hasn't even liked them. Definitely avoided every single thing. So I don't know. I don't know what that relationship will be like. I'll give him time. I don't feel like I should reach out, but maybe I should. I don't know. I had a few other people that weren't invited that I do feel close to, and they messaged me and they said congratulations and they were super happy for me. And that took off anxiety off of my chest. So
Right.
I felt great about that. I haven't heard from my mother. I have not heard from my sister that I skirted around that it being small, but I feel like it was much bigger than I kind of sold it to her.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. Looking at it online, it does look bigger, but I'm probably it was probably very small in person.
It was 30 people cramped in a house.
I mean,
That's
to
what I'm
me, it looks
saying.
like when you, especially the picture of, I think it's that Oscar's mom you're dancing with, or that he's
Mhm.
dancing with. And then there's another photo from it's in someone's house. Like you can
Yeah.
tell that it's not in some like event
Venue.
space that you're
Right.
trying to make it look smaller. Like it's in someone's living room. So
Yeah.
you can tell
Right.
that it's not a lot of people can fit in there.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know if my sister is upset because normally she sends me Trump bullshit, anti-Trump bullshit through Instagram, and I've told her to stop, and she still hasn't, and she kind of has now after the
Mm.
wedding. So that's a little awkward. My brother sent me a TikTok. I don't
Mm.
feel like he's mad at me, so
All right.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of conflicted on it because I feel like there's a reason why. If someone doesn't invite you to a wedding, there is a reason why, whatever it may be, but there is a reason.
Yeah.
And so why would you try to put a dark shadow over someone's happiest day of their life because of your feelings?
Well,
Because
it's a
it's
little bit of
their
immaturity, I
wedding.
think. It's just a little
Yeah.
I was mad about not being invited to a wedding when I was like 22. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And I feel like now, like 20 years later, I'd be like, oh well.
Mhm.
Like, oh well,
Oh my God. Now that you say that, Holly, there was one wedding. I remember in my 20s, I was like,
Mhm. I know.
I have known you. Actually, I'll fucking say their name too.
Say them, name them.
I'm not mad now because we're all like, I love them dearly. But the guy I've always told a story about, he was my first crush. His name is Alex Hansen.
Uh-huh.
And we went to middle school, high school, and college together. And he met his now wife when we were all in college. And I was there for the beginning, all throughout their, relationship because she was younger than us. And then they got married when we were in our early 20s. And I remember not getting invited. But then Corey, my best friend and roommate in college, she went. And I was like, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah.
How I know that bitch? I got him cologne when we were in high school.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, girl, it's fine.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I was like such one of my college guy best friends. I had known him, since like freshman orientation, basically. There were only 3 of us in the broadcasting major in the year of graduation, and he was one of them. So like we were together for a lot of classes and like we were really close. And there was like a I think we made out probably when we were like super freshmen, when you're thinking that the campus is huge and it wasn't really huge.
Right.
But that was the end of that. Then he met this girlfriend that he had. And she was in a different sorority, and I thought we were all kind of friends. And then they got engaged like our senior year, and then they were getting ready for the wedding, and I was like, I can't wait for the invitation. And then it never. And then my friends all got the invitation, and I was like, And after a while, I was like, I don't think it's lost. And then I started shit talking her in the bathroom to one of my other friends, and she was in the stall.
Oh.
God.
And then it came to a head, and we're drunk, of course. And so she ended up like it was apparently, I don't remember if she told me this or if somebody else told, I don't remember. She thought that I was trying to get with her man. Like she was like, she was very threatened, and I was pissed, and it was just a whole thing. And then so after like the whole thing settled, I ended up sending them money because I was like, well, I have always wanted to be the bigger person. So, of course, I sent them a little check, and then I didn't get a thank you. And then I was fucking pissed. And then I think, oh, maybe that was when maybe that's when I overheard. She overheard me in the bathroom. Maybe not the first part. Maybe it was after I was bitching because I sent them a check. I wasn't even invited. I sent them a check. I didn't get a thank you. And she was in the bathroom. That was when it was, not earlier. And she busts out of the bathroom and she's like, how dare you, blah, blah. I'm getting to the thank yous. And I was like, it's been a year. Oh, yeah. And then and she was like trying to throw in my face that like one of our friends that had passed away. She's like, and I was there, and I was like, you didn't do shit. So anyway, it was a
girl
whole
fight in the
thing.
bathroom. Yes.
It was a
White
whole
Ohio
thing.
girls getting at it.
Yes,
I'm
it
here
was a
for
whole
it.
thing. And so then like I moved out of Ohio, and then Facebook became a thing, and I like couldn't add him, my friend, because they're married and she fucking hates me. Then like, I don't know, 3 or 5 years ago or so, they got divorced.
Oh.
And the first thing I did was add him back. I'm like,
Jesus.
I love how those grievances and never go away.
no, but see,
Never.
I highly doubt that anybody would get me that bothered now.
Right.
Like now, you know, at 40 some. Like I'd be like, who gives a fuck? That's less money that I gotta put out of pocket. You know
I
what
was
I'm
like,
saying?
that's why I was like, I obviously would have loved to have been there and to have been with you all. But I'm like, we had to spend money in a hotel. We didn't have no gas. Then we'd have to take my mom out.
Wasted a weekend. I got Maya. Like what? I don't care. I want to see the pictures. I'm so happy for you. Like I do feel like it's a bit of a maturity thing.
Yeah.
And it takes some people a really long time to get to it. Some people don't. And that's just how they are. So long story short, some people are going to be mad. That's
right.
all.
And like you said, if you're an adult and you have these big feelings, come and talk to me about it, and I will explain to you why you were not there.
Right.
Yeah.
Any regrets?
Yes. Not hiring a photographer. Honestly, that was my biggest regret. Bitch, because they were charging me $500 for 30 minutes. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Ooh.
I have a beautiful camera, which I should have put the attachment on the flash on it. And that's, it is what it is. So whatever. What can you do?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
If people want to Venmo you a little wedding gift,
Yes.
how can they find you on there?
With our registry link, we used to have that, but apparently people were getting charged a percentage. So I was like, oh no, I'd prefer for you guys to like Venmo. Oscar was getting mad that I kept calling it a donation list. It's not a donation, it's a gift.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
It's all about how you phrase it, honey.
Yes, honey. So if you want to gift me, girl, at Kelbin Lie. No, it's not. No. I don't know my Venmo. But you know what? You can Instagram DM me.
Yeah, Instagram him.
Girl.
And how can they find you on there?
At Kelbin Live. Instagram.
Holly, how can people find you on social and donate to you?
Please donate to my roof fund. We're trying to put a new, I feel like it's Sister Act 2 or whatever. We're trying to get a new roof. Radio Holly on, all the things.
We should put your a little one of those temperature gauges outside of your house, like the churches do for that roof fund. It keeps going up. They're like, oh, we're about to hit the 100%. Yeah.
I want a thermometer for my roof fund.
If you want to donate to my 40th birthday fund, you can message me on Instagram at Miguel Fuller. No, please don't. But do. All right.
But you can if you want.
Can if you want to. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget, Sunday, the episode will drop with me talking to my mother. And if you have an idea for a name for this new Sunday version of Uncensored, hit us up on the Miguel and Holly fam/platypus posse Facebook page. We'll see y'all on Monday. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.